combination between the sitting state governors and also the previous state governors that had some level of party structures. That is where we have these things, the crisis. Everything is around succession, zoning, and who next emerge as the national chairman and who becomes the next president. So these are very serious issues, are not as light as maybe as gentlemanly as it looks. So that is why from the beginning, since we have this kind of combination of political parties that formed the APC as we see it today, there are supposed to be an efficient conflict resolution mechanism within that will be moving around tallying interests from the beginning. But we carried this thing over up to this moment. And now that we succeeded in getting a somewhat very stable leadership over time, it is important for us to complete the assignment properly. At this kind of period where you have contestation and counter-contestation, agitations and challenges from within the state, and also so many court cases, lawsuits instigated around one party chairman or the other, and you have grandstanding between some ministers in some state and some state governors, or some party leaders, senators in some state and some state governors, we have to make sure that we don't come into convention in a situation whereby we can have a walkout and implosion. That is what we are trying to avoid by advocating for, even if it warrants, we give extra time. We are not saying that the convention should not go ahead on the 26th. But should there be any need for extension, we should give room for this stability to be achieved before we come to convention ground. We are not saying that all parties have to agree before we come to convention ground. There must be disagreement. And if we identify someone who willfully disagree and rejected the arrangement after conciliation committee had reached out to them, then those people should not even be allowed, in the first place to the convention ground, because of course there are supposed to be some laid down rules, critical situational analysis that will be presented to them based on their own interests so that they can come on board and participate as genuine party members. Our target is we don't want to go into 2023 election as a united party or divided party, or at the same time get into convention on the 26th, have implosion. If we do
Mr.
that,
Garba,
it's going to spell serious doom to the image of the party and our readiness for the 2023 general election, which we have to avoid. People like us that are young people in the party, what we pay attention to most importantly is that we don't have any other party other than APC. We don't know about those camps. So whatever will happen, we need a very strong united force to be able to bring back power in 2023.
Right.
And
so,
we cannot
a lot of issues
to
contend with, Mr. Garba. There's the issue of timing, but particularly the grandstanding which you talk about, because for Dr. Nwoye, the convention should go ahead, February 26th. Nothing should shake it. And he thinks, you can never have a perfect setting. You have said that as well. But regarding the grandstanding, the whole clash and all that, just how significant really are they? In what states or amongst whom do you still have that grandstanding? So maybe that can give an insight into how big this might, the implosion which you predict might be.
Yes, if you look at now, for instance, in Kwara State, the camp between the minister and the executive governor is still facing challenges. In Kano, we still have the same problem. In Zamfara, we still have the same problem. Zamfara is traditionally an APC state. If you go back to Anambra, because of this kind of counter challenges, we even lost governorship election. After that, supposing even our governor won, the court case now invalidates the whole process that elected and that nominated the governor that was presented by the party, the governorship candidate that was presented by the party. So there are still issues. And of course, we are celebrating the successes of CECPC, but it is very important for us to give, if required, more room for us to be able to cement ourselves before we get into convention.
All right, Mr.
So
Garba,
many states have this kind of accusation and counter.
Okay, let's bring in Mr. Nwoye, just considering our time. So, Mr. Nwoye, does it have any point in all of those issues that he's raised? I mean, should you still go ahead with the convention, given all those issues he's highlighted? Aren't you afraid that even he highlighted there just might be that implosion?
The issue he highlighted are not new. In 2018, after the state congresses, we had well over 26 states with parallel structures. And we went ahead, they got one, including my state, Enugu State. We had a parallel structure. They went ahead and I was sworn in, re-elected, and then the parallel structure continued. In fact, as a matter of fact, the case is still in court. There's still an appeal, and I am no longer a chairman. So the same thing could happen here. We went into convention. There was no implosion, as is predicted. Yes, some states came in and they were fighting and all that, but at the end of the day, the party rallied around, they came together. And we were able to re-elect most of our National Assembly members, re-elect a great majority of the governors, and most importantly, re-elect President Muhammadu Buhari. Under that circumstance, the issues we are on, the Oshomole's issues we are ongoing, and the man worked his butt out and made sure that President Muhammadu Buhari was re-elected. We didn't have the kind of, you can't say that the kind of issues we are having now is worse than what we had before. It is absolutely incorrect. If you look at what is happening now, it's actually a child's play as to what happened in 2018. Okay? So what we have now is perhaps certain interest group who want to encourage a sit-tight situation where we keep extending the goalposts. Extending the goalposts or moving the goalposts or moving the target, that is what we bring the so-called implosion. Not conducting the convention when the mandate given to this organ was provided for just 6 months. 6 months. And then you ask for another 6 months extension.
But I want to ask you quickly, how much time, if your party is going to be in need, if the convention, extraordinary planning committee is going to need more time, how much more time do you think they will need?
Depending on the recommendation of the Abdullah Adamu Committee, the Conciliation Committee, 3, 2, 1 month, however it comes. But should there be need?
What is the maximum time that you think that it's reasonable enough
We can actually go up to June, because what you need to do is just to notify INEC 21 days. That's what you need to do. So even if like we have a month to convention, we can be able to, only 1 month for us to go into primary election, we can be able to notify INEC at that point. So it's not really a very serious issue as it's been painted. But the biggest challenge here is, we can't, as he's rightly saying, in 2018, we had a president that generally we agreed will be coming back. But this 2023, that president is no longer on the ballot. So these interests are becoming more stronger than it used to be at that period, and that's why we have this easier soft landing, that moment. But now, it's a completely different case. When you look at what's happening in some states, especially Kano, it's something unimaginable. You know, so we have a lot of challenges, and we have to make sure that all parties are on board properly, at least to some significant degree, before we go into convention ground.
Will 2 months be too much to give if that is going to make your party stronger?
We would have to be realistic. In 2020, June 2020 precisely, they were given 6 months to do convention, nothing more. They couldn't do it. They got for extension. They were extended for another 6 months to June. By December, I was there at the NEC. Another 6 months was granted that you must have this convention by June 2021. It didn't happen. Then somehow they got another extension. By the way, without NEC, because the NEC did not sit at the last extension. As we are speaking now, at this moment, we don't have NEC. The full NEC is not there, the full body of NEC, because our time has run up. Today, by 11 or 10 a.m., they will swear in new people. If the rumor going about is correct, then that would be a problem. When you talk about if you give 2 months, some of us want to go in and become members of the National Working Committee and contest. At what point would those people now campaign to be elected? These are national issues. This is a national campaign that must be conducted. They are supposed to zone these positions. The zoning is not out. So at what point is the zoning going to be out? So for instance, I have people who want me to contest for a national secretary position. I can't proclaim whether or not I will contest, but the zoning is not out. So if you keep extending it 1 month, 2 months, you must look at the history. By that 2 months, like I said, perhaps some program will be presented. And that program will lead to another extension. Whether we like it or not, politics is about context. Different issues, different people, different ideology. You can't put every ideology in one basket. Yes, President Muhammadu Buhari will be leaving. We have other people who will take over. They need appropriate time to campaign. Right now, we have several people campaigning to become the
So
national.
2 months would be too much to ask for.
It's not that it's too much. If you look at history, they couldn't do
I
it.
just need a yes or no for that.
Oh, okay. No extension should be asked, and no extension should be granted.
Okay, well, we'll have to leave it there, gentlemen. We have to thank you both for coming on Sunrise Early this morning. Dr. Ben Woye is the former chairman of APC in Enugu State, and also former secretary, APC State Chairman Forum. Mr. Adamu Garba is an APC chieftain, and both of them have been speaking with us here in our Abuja studios. We'll see how your party eventually decides whether or not a convention will hold this month or not, but I don't think that people will be holding their breath on that. Let's see how matters proceed.